Welcome back to Between the Ropes. I'm Hunter Dietz. This is Colt Powers, and this is an on-the-go media production, this podcast. Colt, last week we talked about Saturday night's main event, what we were looking forward to going into it. Give us your thoughts on everything that went down.
So, mind you, when I watched this, I was in the middle of some meal prepping and stuff for the week, so I wasn't 100% focused on it, but it was more or less playing in the background. Night started off. I thought it started off okay. It had the undisputed WWE title match between Rhodes and McIntyre, and went about the way I thought it would go. There was a couple spots in there that didn't look like they did what they wanted to, we'll say, and they went back and redid the spot. But overall, it was an all right match. If I, grading scale 1 to 5, I'd say it was a solid 3.
Were you expecting a little bit more from it, though? I mean, seeing the finish of that match, I was expecting, I guess I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but maybe having Cody Rhodes do something after the bell, maybe having Drew get angry or something. Like, it was just kind of a flat finish in my opinion, wasn't it?
It just wasn't, it wasn't bad. It was a solid wrestling match. It just wasn't like you're expecting something more. And I don't know, is it the, leave them with wanting more type of thing, or it wasn't.
I feel like anymore, though, they kind of use that as a cop-out, because what winds up happening is that they're like, oh, well, we'll leave them wanting more. Well, what you're doing is people are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to go to these shows, and you leave them wanting more. Well, guess what? I just saw a crappy, Monday Night Raw that I spent, $800 on or something to have nosebleed tickets.
Yep.
At the price that these tickets are, they need to be delivering every single show. And if they can't do that, the ticket prices need to come down.
Regardless, I think the ticket prices need to go down. I think going to the live shows right now, for me, I'm sorry, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It just is not worth it. I'm not paying the prices that they're asking, even for nosebleeds, because it's not worth it here. What was it, 2 years ago, maybe the last time I went to a live show? Tickets were pretty average price. I think they were in that, $50, $60 range. And they, we were sitting mid bowl of Wells Fargo Arena. So, I mean, I was happy to pay those prices for the tickets that we had, because I thought we had a very good view. I just, the prices are asking now. So yeah, I think delivering at these shows, they do need to deliver something. And as an overall, before even talking about the rest of the matches, it was an okay show, but it was not something where I was like, oh, I wish I was there. I certainly don't wish I was there. I mean, it just wasn't that type of show. So,
yeah.
But like I said, on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd say it was a good 3.
So the next match was Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton.
Yes.
Have you been paying attention to this storyline at all? And Tiffany Stratton holding the belt for over 300 days, I believe, coming into this match against Jade Cargill. What'd you think of this?
Honestly, I felt like it was more than anything, it was to get Jade over as a heel. She came in, I felt like she was, which she is built. I love Jade Cargill. She is built. She's a solid, and it's taken her time to get into this. Because when she first came over, everybody expected big things immediately.
Yeah.
It was pretty evident she needed to get a little more training under her belt, and that's not a bad thing. She just legit needed to work on her craft a little bit more. I think she's taken great strides. I think it was okay. It wasn't. Again, for me, it was a 3 out of 5. I don't feel like Tiffany and Jade have chemistry. Does that make sense?
I completely agree with you. I felt like this is a weird way to do things, because Tiffany has had this great title reign, and I've loved her as champion. But with Jade, I feel like the story was kind of rushed. all this comes from a week or two ago when Jade turned heel on Tiffany because she lost her match at SummerSlam, but to turn heel on Tiffany Stratton kind of out of nowhere, and then, like you said, they don't really have chemistry. The whole match is just kind of move, move, move,
And Jade uses big power moves.
right.
And so the people that piss and moan about like Goldberg or Lesnar that
Right.
don't necessarily use the wrestling moves, I can't imagine that they were happy with this type of a match. I mean, I love that Jade can show her dominance because again, she is a very powerful, attractive woman, and it wasn't, with them not having much chemistry. I suppose this has probably worked the best way it possibly could, just because they don't have a ton of chemistry together. So for Jade to come in at, trying to establish this heel status and come in and just take over the match and drop her basically, like I said, again, it was a 3. I just wasn't. I guess since you did say that, just from a couple of weeks ago is when this kind of started. They've had matches before,
Yeah.
but in this story, I guess it was pretty quick for, if you want that shock of Saturday Night Main Event.
This segment of the story was very very hot-shotted, very rushed, and it really didn't work for me. I'll be interested to see what we do with Jade Cargill as champion.
Yep.
I think maybe more than anything, and we'll get to this a little bit later in the card too, it's so that way we can take the All Elite picture at the end of the night with all the champions that are formerly All Elite. But speaking of Saturday night's main event, shockingly, 2 matches in, halfway through the card now we're talking, started to realize Jesse Ventura's not here.
Yeah.
What's up with that? I mean, Jesse Ventura is the voice of Saturday night's main event.
Didn't he get into some trouble for something he said?
When hasn't he gotten into trouble?
Well,
for
I mean,
he
wasn't
said?
enough that they said we're gonna.
I guess I don't remember the specific circumstances recently, but yeah, I mean, you signed Jesse Ventura to a contract. I feel like you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh yeah, you would think.
You would think so.
You would think.
Like,
well, and there wasn't any like side announcers, backstage interview type of stuff. Like I said, I was focused on making on meal prepping and stuff, so I wasn't.
I could be wrong because I wasn't paying attention to the entire show. Yeah, I didn't see Joe Tessitore up in the Okerlund position, as they call it.
Yep.
I kind of struggle with that.
It didn't feel. The music was there, the lights, the look. But it didn't feel like Saturday Night Main Event, if that makes sense.
The stage, I liked the stage.
Absolutely.
I thought that was great, but I do feel like we're starting to, whereas we were paying homage before to the original '80s run of Saturday Night's Main Event, I feel like now maybe we're starting to pay homage to the 2006 run of Saturday Night's Main Event, and maybe that's why we're not seeing Jesse or Joe in the Okerlund position. That's why we're not seeing the bow ties and the, all that sort of stuff. And that bigger stage is kind of what sold that for me, because that's what they had in '06. I don't know. Something about it kind of rubs me the wrong way. If we're going to bring back Saturday Night's Main Event, let's do it right.
Do it right, and do it. It's still. I still feel, even though it's not the big PLE or the big pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it, it's still a special event. And I agree that it didn't have that feel the other night.
Yeah.
It felt half put together, you know what I mean, in that sense, because there was only 4 matches that night. Mm-hmm. Only 4.
I don't know. Something about the whole show just didn't really sit right with me. But moving on through the show, what probably was slated in everyone's mind to maybe be able to be the show stealer, the Intercontinental Championship match.
Yep.
Penta and Rusev challenge for Dirty Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship. What did you think of this match?
For what I thought it was, because I truly thought this was going to be the match of the night. Mm. And that's kind of not because of Rusev, and I'm not taking anything away from him. We talked last week. I like him. I like that big, burly guy idea, but I really would have preferred Penta and Dominic. And I think those two would have some really good chemistry. I think there could be a really good rivalry in there between them. The match itself, it went all right. It was a decent match. Triple threat matches are tricky because you're not just dealing with two guys, you know, so the timing and stuff all has to be right. But Dom, to end the match in his true fashion and kind of throwing in the Uncle Eddie a little bit there, I really did like the ending of Rusev. I can't remember what hold he had Penta in.
Probably the Accolade, right?
Yeah, the Accolade.
Yeah.
Had him in the Accolade. You hear the bell ring. Rusev has got his hands raised. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, and the official's sitting there going, no, this is not. Mm-hmm. And then you look over and you see Dirty Dom there holding the ring bell hammer, mm-hmm. and you're like, oh, that's Eddie. 100%. Yeah. That's Eddie.
Oh, for sure.
Love it.
And as overplayed as the stereotype is now, I do think you want a 5-star match, Intercontinental Championship ladder match.
Oh, yeah.
Penta and Dom.
Yep.
That will tear the house down.
Absolutely.
Do it in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Do it in Mexico. I
mean, that'll just blow the roof off the place. And I wonder if maybe that's kind of what we're working up to. If the rumors are true, though, about what we're hearing, that it'll be Cena and Dom at Survivor Series, and Cena takes the belt, I mean, that doesn't leave you any room to do that.
No, but I mean, at least if Cena does take the belt, that leaves that it could come around at a later time. You know, we're going to have Penta and Dom for a long time.
That's true.
You know, obviously, we're on a short time right now with John Cena. So
that's true. That's true.
And if they're trying to get him that, I can't think of what the word is. All the championships.
The Grand Slam.
Grand Slam.
Yeah.
If they're trying to get him as a Grand Slam champion, it's now or never right now.
You know, I was just talking to On the Go Media president Sean Dietz about this very topic the other day. He thinks that the time of the Grand Slam champion has come and gone, and he says that in this day and age, who really cares about a Grand Slam champion? And not only that, if you were going to do it with Cena, it should have been done earlier in the tour.
I'm not going to disagree with that at all.
I can't disagree with that.
No. I also don't disagree with that. This day and age, it's kind of, what do you call it? Say passe.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's well past the time. Plus, how many freaking titles do we have nowadays?
There's so many, and to be a Grand Slam champion, I mean, they keep changing the rules. Like now, it's one of the world titles, either the U.S. or the Intercontinental title, one of the tag titles, and then, or maybe you got to have the U.S. and the Intercontinental title. It's 4.
I was going to say, because he's already had U.S. titles.
He's already had the U.S. title. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So it's U.S. and Intercontinental, tag, and a world championship. So they just keep stretching this further and further. That whole thing's interesting. I agree. If they were going to do it with Cena, it should have been earlier in the tour. I believe he's had 4 matches with Logan Paul this year. That's a problem. That is a waste of a retirement tour. I get if Cena has a checklist of people that he wants to face.
Yeah.
I know 2 of them were PLEs.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? It's just kind of a growing problem with some of the booking. And speaking of booking problems, the main event of Saturday night's main event for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk and Jey Uso. This is not the way I saw this match turning out.
No, I'm happy it did.
Absolutely.
Punk was due.
100%.
Punk was due. And honestly, like I said, minus Penta and Rusev and the triple threat there with Dom, it was a good match. And I really thought that was going to be the match of the night. However, this being the main event, honestly, this is the one that did it for me. Not necessarily because they went real heavy on finishers.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of times where, there was one spot where we had the Cena. We had Punk's finisher. Then I think he was down on his knees, and Uso fell over his shoulders again, and he went for it and then fell over backwards. It's like, I don't think that was supposed to happen, but they made it look like it was supposed to, and they made it look good.
And I give all that credit to Punk.
Yes.
Because he's always been good at improvising in those situations. You could tell he was pissed when Jay screwed up the neck breaker earlier in the match. It looked like he was trying to kill him.
I don't feel like even though the last match with Punk winning, with Jade winning, if I'm gonna give a grade out of 1 out of 5, I'm gonna go 3.5 to 4. I mean, Punk winning helped me put over just because I feel like Punk deserved it. It was his time. But I would go. I'd say it was a solid 3.5, just because it was an all right night. It wasn't over the moon. It wasn't like, oh, this sucks. But it was definitely a definite mid-grade Saturday night main event. Punk winning could push it up for me. I mean, it's like, because I really didn't. I was really looking forward to that picture at the end with, Trips and Punk, the point, and with Trips and Jade too, and I didn't get it, so that's why I was like, is Trips not there? I
had heard he wasn't there. So I think that's fair, and we'll just have to see where these storylines progress from Saturday night's main event. Those of you watching may be wondering why this hat with paper is sitting here, and there's a good reason for it. We've got a new segment that we're going to try out today, and Colt is going to pull a moment in wrestling history from this hat and then blindly rank it 1 to 10 on how important he feels that it is to wrestling history. This could be anything from Frank Gotch and George Hackenschmidt all the way up to this past Saturday with CM Punk winning the world title. It could be anything. So I will hold it up here so that way you cannot see as you reach in.
All right.
Pull one out, and we'll see what your first one is, 1 through 10. How important is this? Read it out loud.
Mankind wins the WWF Championship on Raw's War 1/4/99. January 4th, 99. That's, whew. I feel like that was a huge moment because, if I'm not mistaken, did WCW not give away...
That's the night that Tony Schiavone said, that'll put butts in seats.
Yep. And everybody turned over. So that was that the 83rd week or the 84th?
That is the 83rd week. Yep.
Oh man, I feel like that's a really big one. I'm gonna mark down. That's probably number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll say that's number 3. So I'll get rid of number 3 there.
All right. So just to be clear, Colt cannot change his rankings once he has his full list. And there are 21 of these cards in here. So he won't get to all of them. We are just going to have to see after this where he goes. That may have been a bad decision to put that at number 3. We're just going to have to see.
I just feel like that's a really big moment. I got one? Yes. All right. Terry Funk retires in ECW against then WWF champion Bret Hart, then signs with WWF. Terry Funk's WrestleFest 9/11/97.
So that is Terry Funk's second or third retirement.
I was going to say, it's like Ric Flair. How many times can you retire?
Yeah.
I feel like it could have led to some things and some, obviously signing with WWF, it went on to him and Mankind with the New Age Outlaws, and there was some good stuff that came out of that, leading to DX.
Really, I feel like the big part of this story, too, is that Vince allowed the WWF champion to go work a match in another company.
That is big.
Out of respect for Terry.
Yep.
And then the crazy part of it all, less than a year after that, Terry signs with the WWF. I mean, what date did that say? September?
9/11/97.
Okay, so Terry Funk's at WrestleMania the next year. I think he debuts as Chainsaw Charlie in January. So, less than a 3-month retirement?
Yeah.
at minimum.
Yeah.
Because I know he was at No Way Out of Texas, so he was in the Rumble. So
I'm gonna go with, I don't think that's the lowest we can get. I'm gonna go with an 8.
okay, all right. I'll shuffle these around for you some more here. Make sure that you grab a good one.
Make sure. You want me to look?
No.
Okay. Hulk Hogan puts Harley Race through the first table in wrestling history. Saturday night main event on March 12th, 1988.
Now, this is the first table spot. This is what some people call the first hardcore spot in wrestling. Obviously, there were street fights and things before that. There were cage matches.
But nobody had been put through a table.
Nobody had been put through a table. And the phrasing of that is actually not entirely correct because Hogan is laying on the table and Harley jumps from the apron and Hogan moves off. So Harley goes through.
Okay. I don't feel like that's a huge spot to me.
Okay.
I feel like that would probably... I don't know if it's going to get to be the worst, and I may regret it, but I'm going to go 9.
Okay.
I can see you're like, yeah, you're grinning.
Well, we'll see what else is in here.
Oh, the first War Games, the Great American Bash in 1989. 7/23, 1989. Great American Bash, great pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Was that WCW at the time?
So that is the NWA. This is kind of interesting. So the first actual War Games match was a house show in 1987, and they did 23 house show War Games from 87 through 88 before they were ready to put it on pay-per-view in 89. And this is the Road Warriors and Nikita Koloff and Paul Ellering and Dusty.
Yep.
Versus the Four Horsemen and J.J. Dillon.
Yep.
So this is NWA. This is the only televised NWA War Games.
Okay. Still feel like it's big, but I'm going to go, it's probably mid-big, so I'm going to go 5.
Okay.
Don't want to dry out my marker so I can keep track of where I'm putting things.
Let's see here. What do we got?
All right. Starrcade is the first major national wrestling event. Starrcade, 11/24/1983. Starrcade, this is a big one to me because this leads towards, what's to become WrestleMania. I mean, it's different promotions, but Vince McMahon, I think, sees this and is like, hey, we can do this bigger. We can do this better. And
an important distinction, Starrcade 83, not on pay-per-view, on closed circuit.
Yep.
So you'd go to your local movie theater or auditorium that was showing this on a big screen, but not in-home pay-per-view. That was WrestleMania that set the standard for that.
And I feel like this really set stage for WrestleMania, which puts a lot of things over the top.
That's right. Kind of a butterfly effect here. Without that, how much more do we get?
Exactly. So I feel like that's a really big event. But I got 21 different things to choose from, and this would be my 5th one. I feel like, I don't want to discredit it by putting it at a 4, but I don't know if 2 is too high. I don't feel like 2 is too high. We're going to go 2. Might be a mistake, but, it's all right. Wouldn't be the first mistake I've made in my life.
That's right.
Jim Herd fires Ric Flair, 9/8/1991.
So obviously this leads to the Real World's Champion storyline in the WWF. Big deal. Ric Flair coming to the WWF for the first time.
And he brought the world title with him.
Brought the world title.
And that was huge, having that show up in the WWF.
Yeah.
It didn't last very long. It was a big deal. But it did lead to a lot, and it led to Ric Flair, recognizing that WWF is a big promotion.
Yep.
So let's go with a 4.
Okay. So far, what spots do you have left? You got 1, 6, 7, and 10.
Yep. RoboCop makes his WCW debut at Capital Combat 5/19/1990.
All right.
Now, as funny as this is, Sting was involved. Everybody knows I love Sting. It didn't lead the way for celebrities because we'd already been having celebrities
That's
at
true.
WrestleMania and
That's
stuff.
true.
So it doesn't. But as far as a big movie or something like that, I'm gonna throw this at the 10. This one's gonna get.
This
the
is
10.
the 10 for you.
As much as I love Sting, it just.
So you have 1, 6, and 7 left.
SmackDown debuts 8/26/1999. That's huge. SmackDown and still going strong today.
Still going today.
So 26 years later, we're still going strong. We're gonna go with number 6. I would probably rank that a little bit different now, knowing what I have here, but you know. That's why these are blind. New Jack attempts to kill Vic Grimes at XPW Freefall in February 23rd, 2002.
Now, this is the scaffold match where he tries to get revenge for his brain damage.
You're like, Tag, I can't feel my legs. I said, you ain't gonna need them. Bombs away.
How important is this to wrestling history? 1 or 7?
Well, I have to go 7 now. All right. All that's left is 1, right?
Yep, this has to be your number 1.
Good grief. Well, okay, this really is a good one. Ron Simmons wins the WCW Championship, WCW main event 8/2/1992. He was the first black world champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this actually is huge. That is, I would go with that as a number 1 thing because that led the way for, if you wanted, if you will, Black American history.
Yeah.
Him and Ron Simmons is one hell of a wrestler.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize who he was prior to the APA, or a lot of people are just he's the damn guy,
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But prior to that, being in the APA and stuff, I mean, him winning that championship was huge. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Real quick before we finish off, though, did we get to talk last time about what the payoff was from those vignettes?
No, we didn't. The payoff's garbage. The payoff to the walking vignettes is a WrestleMania promo, as was mentioned in the rumor mill. I hate it. I mentioned last week when we discussed it as a rumor, I hate it. Why did they do this to us? They knew what they were doing.
They did know what they were doing, and I as I told you, I would hate it if it wasn't so good. It was such a good trailer going into WrestleMania that I can't hate it. The poster looks phenomenal. There was talk with Lesnar. I mean, the way he looks in it.
I think Lesnar may have been digitally altered. I don't think he could have been bothered to shoot the promo.
Now, the rumor was that he was at the studio or at the WWE headquarters. I don't know.
Or perhaps they just digitally altered his face. I don't know. Something doesn't look right with him.
Something isn't quite right. I don't know. Maybe he got Botox. I don't. Maybe he's into that. I don't know.
He may have. I don't know what he's into.
But that, I did want to touch on that real quick because
just drop the trailer next time. The vignettes aren't necessary.
they weren't necessary but it was. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out because I really did think it was a pretty good one, especially having Triple H involved. And I love to see, are they subtly hinting to stuff like in the background, because there was the chess piece in the background of the Knight. Is that a reference to LA Knight? Because
Yep, they'll put the 24/7 title on LA Knight. That's what they'll do.
24/7
I don't know.
title.
I don't have any faith in them anymore.